Welcome back to another video with That's Awkward ASMR. My name is Tatiana, and today I'm going to share with you my top games of 2022. I did make a video like this for 2021. There were a ton of games on it, I think like 25 games, something like that. And I share, my thoughts on them quickly, quick synopsis about the game, and then show you some footage from me playing it, and then we move on to the next one. And it's going to be like that for this video too. But before we jump into it, I just want to say 2022 for me was an interesting year in gaming. I didn't play the two top AAA games that were fighting during the Game Awards for everything. I didn't play those two games. I wasn't that interested. So already off the bat, those AAAs are missing from this list. And then also this year was a year where I didn't really like a lot of games I played. When I don't like a game, I usually just don't talk about it and move forward. And I don't usually talk about games I don't like on this channel. But you guys are going to notice with this list, there's a lot of games I played on this channel, I live streamed on my YouTube channel, but I played all these games and you're going to notice they're not on this list. So with that kind of all being out of the way, let's jump into the games I did really enjoy this year. They may not be my favorites, I'll let you know if they are, but there's a couple on here and you all might be surprised. The first one is Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's the only one Pokemon on my list for this year. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Can you believe that was released in 2022? When I went back to look at all the games I played in 2022, I could not believe, I thought this was in November of 2021. But it's February 28th is when it was released. Pokemon Legends Arceus is a 2022 action role-playing game developed by Game Freak and published by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company for the Nintendo Switch. It is part of the 8th generation, of Pokemon video game series and serves as a prequel to the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl games, which was really cool when I played it. It was cool because I had just come off playing Pokemon Diamond, which I actually streamed a lot of it on this channel, and going from that right into Legends Arceus could be also why I enjoyed it so much, especially from the story perspective. You're basically kind of thrown back in time to this time when the Pokédex is starting to be put together, when Pokemon are kind of being discovered and we're learning about them. It was a really exciting time, and it was cool to be put back into that kind of time and really feeling like you're getting to be a part of this history and learning more about Pokemon in general. It was really cool, aside from the fact it's ugly as heck. I don't know, some people are starting to say, why doesn't the new game look like that? And I'm like, y'all, this one was also ugly. Why are we... Legends is not the bar, and it's not the standard. Don't do that. It was ugly, but it played really well from what I remember. I remember it being so broken I could hardly play it, or I wasn't having fun. I remember having fun the whole time looking for Pokemon when I could see them in the bushes and, trying to put together my Pokedex and all this stuff. The way it played was so much fun, and it was very new that I had a great time. And honestly, I booted it up the other day and I was like, nah, it's still ugly, but it is fun, and I enjoyed the story a lot. I mean, if you want to see me play it, I got heated at one point. You can definitely check it out. It's on my second YouTube channel, which is a non-ASMR gaming channel. So yeah, link will be in the description for that. But I did like Legends Arceus and for what it was, and I do wish it could have looked better, but as far as I remember, it didn't run too bad. I could maybe not remember that right, but I thought it was okay, and it's on this list because it's a game I had a lot of fun playing, and it stuck with me, and even my brother and I would sit side by side and play it, and we had a great time. So I liked this game. I streamed the whole thing, and I thought it was super fun, and even though it's ugly, I really enjoyed tons of aspects of it, and it's gonna stick in my heart for a while. Next up is Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which came out in March of 2022. I really like this game. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a 2022 platformer by HAL Laboratory and published by Nintendo for the Switch. It is the 13th mainline installment in the Kirby series. Let's go Kirby, as well as the first game in the series that was fully 3D, that I guess it excludes the spin-offs. I'm reading a synopsis. But basically, we get to go to this mysterious land or world in Kirby and the Forgotten Land and explore. There's a whole bunch of crazy things that start going down, and it's a lot of fun. This game came out at a time for me, which could be why I enjoyed it so much. When I was really wanting to play a 3D platformer like Super Mario. Like, Super Mario Odyssey is the only, like 3D Mario game that was released that's brand new on the Switch. Everything else was just ported over, as far as I know. And I'm like, why? I love Odyssey. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved Odyssey. It was one of my favorite games that year. I had I had bronchitis. It turned into pneumonia. It was a whole thing, but I had bronchitis when it came out, and I remember just being home from work. I had just gotten a Switch and just played that the whole week I was off, 2 weeks I was off. It was awesome, and I loved it, and I don't know, I loved it. And so the fact that I haven't played a new Super Mario, I was like, what's going on here? So I really had this craving and feel to play a Super Mario game. So when Kirby came out, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, it kind of scratched that itch for me, and it was super fun. It was way better than I had expected it to be, if I'm gonna be honest. And I had streamed it. You can check it out on my second channel, and it was a ton of fun. I loved all the different abilities that Kirby had. You could put these hats on and Kirby would have all these different abilities, and it was always exciting to unlock more. I even started just letting my chat decide what powers I would use for the bosses coming up, and it was just a ton of fun. We don't talk about Armadillo. I know some of y'all from my streams are gonna bring up Armadillo. I'm sick of seeing Armadillo. I don't like him. I don't like him at all. But yeah, it was a super fun, cute game. It actually won Game of the Year for Family Game, which was really cool. It won that at the Game Awards, and I think it's great. I've had a ton of fun. I played it through completely, even through the bonus levels, which were just basically harder boss fights and harder levels, and it was super great. I can't recommend that game enough if you enjoy 3D platformers. I had a great time, and that's why it's on my list. Up next is Core Keeper. Core Keeper is a survival sandbox game developed by Pugstorm and is currently in early access, so it wasn't fully released this year. I don't know if I'm cheating, but it's a great game, and we need to discuss it. This game has some mechanics and stuff and can be similar to other sandbox genre games like Minecraft or Terraria. It has mining, crafting, farming, exploration. There's bosses you gotta fight and plan to fight. There's a whole procedurally generated underground world, and it's a ton of fun. I started playing this game earlier this year. I was hearing a ton of people talk about it, and after I saw someone defeat one of the bosses, I had just joined, I think it was some random stream, they were fighting a boss, and I didn't really know what was going on, but I was like, wait, this looks really interesting, and I started playing it. This is a game you can play with other people, I think up to 8 people, you can just give a room code, people can play. I haven't been able to do that. I did that one stream. Some people from stream could have come in if they had the game and played, but my siblings really weren't interested in this game, which is totally fine. But I think it would be a really good game if you have other friends who enjoy those games like Terraria or Minecraft, and on looking at this game, you're probably going to enjoy it. I found it to be a ton of fun. It's super gorgeous with its art style, and even though you are underground all the time, it definitely doesn't feel that way. There's a lot of different biomes that kind of keeps you on your toes, and I never feel super bad about being under the ground. You have a lot of different things you can craft. This game is being updated all the time. The devs have already had, I think, I think it's 2 big updates already in their huge planned content that they have before it's fully released, and it is a ton of fun. And I've heard if you have a Steam Deck, it runs fantastically on there. It's currently on Linux and Microsoft Windows through Steam. So yeah, super cool. Great game. I actually did stream it a little bit on this channel and on my second channel if you want to check those streams out. I think I might also have a video on here so you can kind of see it. There will be clips of it, but I found it to be super relaxing, just going and collecting things, taking out bosses, building myself up. And yeah, I had a great time. Definitely worth checking out if you like big sandbox games. Next up, and this also might be a little cheat, is Bugsnax, which is a game that came out already a couple years ago, but they had a huge big update, kind of like a DLC, that was completely free, added a bunch of new content, a new whole like little mini story level and everything for the game. I did actually stream this as well on my second YouTube channel if you want to check that out, and it was a ton of fun. I did the whole game on there and then did the new content. Bugsnax is a fantastic game, and I'm gonna take the opportunity to talk about it again. It's really fun. It's on a ton of platforms now. Like, I think it came to the Switch now. It's on Xbox. It's actually on Game Pass. It's on PS4. It's on PC. It's on a ton of stuff. So definitely check it out if you get the chance. I'll read the quick synopsis for it now. Bugsnax is an adventure video game that is developed by independent game studios, Young Horses. In the game, players explore a mysterious island and attempt to find and capture a bunch of half-bug, half-snack creatures, and it's a ton of fun. Definitely check it out. The mysteries, you play as a reporter, so you're interviewing people, trying to figure out what's going on. You're looking for a missing person. In the update, which is why I'm trying to justify putting it on here, in the big update, you actually go and find out more about the history of this mysterious island and kind of help solve conflicts between some of the Grumpuses, which is the name of the characters that you meet, aside from the Bugsnax. These Grumpuses have a lot of personality and they don't always get along, and you kind of find out more about how these Grumpuses connect to each other. This update actually had some Grumpuses I've never seen connect or didn't really see them interact with each other, actually interact and get some backstory about how they feel about each other. And it was just nice to get that bigger expansion. It also added some new content with regards to a conspiracy in the game. So really, really good stuff. Definitely check it out. And if there is more about this game that ever comes out, you know I'm going to be playing it, because I love this game. Next up is Stray, which was actually up for Game of the Year, even though some people didn't particularly enjoy that it was there. I think it's fine when a bunch of different kinds of games are going to be up there. Everyone knew it wasn't going to win just because it was up against those two giants, God of War and Elden Ring, but it was really cool to see the recognition for this game, especially since, as far as I know, this is the first game from this dev team. Like, this is their first game, and it's done this well, so I'm really excited to see what they work on next. Stray is a 2022 adventure game developed by Blue 12 Studio and published by Annapurna Interactive. Or Annapurna. I always say Annapurna for some reason. Annapurna Interactive. The story follows a stray cat who falls into a walled city populated by robots, machines, and mutant bacteria, and sets out to return to the surface with the help of a drone companion, B12. This game came out in July. It is available on PlayStation, Microsoft Windows. It is so much fun. I love it. I've heard it's great on Steam Deck. I know a lot of people, because I think that people were getting their Steam Decks when this came out. Everyone was so excited to play it on there. So I've heard it runs great, since that's now also like a platform you can play on. I guess if you play it on Steam, you can play it on there. But that was really cool, especially because I know a lot of you guys enjoy handheld gameplay, because a lot of my stuff has been Switch related on this channel, so that's why I mention it. But this game was super fun. It was very unique and different from other games I've played before. Playing as a cat in a world where you can't really interact typically with these robot characters, for example, was interesting. Having our companion B12 was really cool, and in discovering you know, more about B12, more about the world that, and like why it's gotten to the state it's in, about this mutant bacteria that it mentioned, was really cool. And it was definitely, it evoked emotion out of me. Like, I literally broke down crying. Played this game on my second channel. It was a video series I did, so feel free to check that out in full. But yeah, definitely broke down crying, got me emotional, really well written, even though it was kind of like you gathering information. B12 does interact with the other robots, which is nice, so there was some dialogue just to understand what's going on, but it was great, you know? Like, being the cat running around causing mischief sometimes. The puzzles were really fun. Not too challenging, but definitely just something you could be very cozy and chill and play through. And I really enjoyed the game, and I found it to be a ton of fun. My sister played through it and I played through it, and we both had a great time. So definitely can recommend Stray with a full chest and let you guys know it was good fun. Next up is Dinkum. Dinkum, it also released in early access, and I can get away with it because this game's really good. I made a lot of videos on this channel about Dinkum, playing Dinkum, and it's a ton of fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's great. It actually gave that well, actually, wait, let me read the plot. Let me read the synopsis first. The synopsis starts off, and I'm reading this verbatim. It says, "G'day, get ready to start a new fair Dinkum life and build your new home out in the bush. Explore tropical eucalyptus forests, scorching deserts, and cold billabongs on an island inspired by the wild Australian outback. Take care of giant wombats, play with friends, and get ready for ripper time." This game is fantastic. It's in early access, and even in its early access state, it is a ton of fun. If you enjoy life sims, you're probably gonna enjoy this one. I've played it a lot on the channel, so I do recommend you check out the content I made just so you can see more about it if you're hesitant. But there's so much you can do in this game, and the multiplayer aspect is done so well. It's done so well. Obviously, there's some things that can be frustrating, like certain people picking things up. There was a time they weren't allowed to place it because it's the host, like, I say island because I'm used to Animal Crossing, but the host's home, and so they wouldn't be able to place it. That kind of stuff has been fixed over time, but I can't say there won't be any bugs if you check it out just because it is an early access, but they haven't been so bad where my siblings and I didn't want to play the game. I think together we put about 40 hours in, and then I've continued playing after. But we like built up a town. I did a kind of like a tour of it here on this channel, and it was so much fun. It handles multiplayer where you guys can go off and do your own thing, come back together and work together. Now there's been an update where they get houses so they can kind of have their own areas to live and independently from you, and that's great. Just being able to build up this whole town, lay it out together. Some of us like to do mining. I like to do layouts and set up where stuff goes in town. My sister likes to do some of the farming and taking care of the animals. Like, all of us had, and my brother likes to go and collect resources, become the richest man in the world immediately. That's always his goal, and it helped because if we needed a project done, he would fund it while he's out doing his stuff. My sister would be taking care of all the existing animals, talking to people. I would be busy laying stuff out. Together, each of us doing individual things contributed to this little community we were building, and we loved it. Whereas in other games, for example, Animal Crossing, or not really Stardew Valley, because that kind of got better as it was updated, and you can do your own thing now, or you can be working together. So not Stardew Valley, but in Animal Crossing, it definitely, multiplayer felt like a very last minute thought and wasn't very nice to play sometimes. If you wanted to go do your own thing, sometimes you couldn't, aside from like you could go catch bugs, but you couldn't do a lot of stuff by yourself just with how the game was. Like, I don't think you were even allowed to drop stuff on the ground or pick it up or something when your guest is over, because that's rude and there would be like a warning. So this was nice to give that complete separation if you wanted, and no one had to wait for someone else to do something in the game. which was nice. So it handles it great for multiplayer. It's great to play by yourself as well. Very chill. It is only on Steam as of right now because it's in early access. But if you have a Steam Deck, I mean, you already have your portability right there. So yeah, ton of fun. I think it will come to other platforms eventually, but I'll leave all the links for all the games down below so you can go and check out the websites and stuff and get more information for yourself. Next up is Dreamlight Valley, which is also an early access game, but I have had and keep having a ton of fun with this game. Now, some of you did mention you did get this on Switch, but you didn't like the controls. I don't know if you can remap them. I actually didn't get a chance to check before this because that would probably be helpful if they're uncomfortable for people. I've never played it with a controller yet. I've always played just with a keyboard and mouse on Steam, and I found it to be a ton of fun. So if you play on controller, maybe be aware. Some people said it was a little uncomfortable, just in our community here. But it is a ton of fun if you do get a chance to check it out. Dreamlight Valley is a life simulation adventure video game developed and published by Gameloft, which I'm not going to lie, had me nervous at first, but they have seemed to handle this as of right now, because we don't know how the monetization will necessarily work after this comes out of early access, but we'll get to that. So Gameloft, and it's based on and featuring various characters by Walt Disney, or the Walt Disney Company, which is a lot. When you think about that, that's Marvel, that's Star Wars, that's all your classic Disney characters like Nemo, Moana, we got Ariel, we've got Wall-E, we've got Frozen characters, we've got Beauty and the Beast is gonna come, we've got so many different characters available currently, like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, a ton, and there's so many more that they can have in this game. In fact, the content for this game could just literally go forever if you think about it, which is kind of cool because this game is a ton of fun. If you like Animal Crossing, you're gonna literally love this game. It's got farming, fishing, you can decorate your entire valley, you can have different Disney characters move in and put their houses different places, you can decorate the outside. Very, very cool. There's outfits, shops, a whole ton of stuff, as well as quests and story adventures for you to go on with these characters. Each one kind of has like to level 10. You can be friends with them, and as you move up those levels, you're basically doing quests for them, getting to know them, helping them with problems and things like that. It is a ton of fun in early access. I absolutely love it. It's the game I would have literally just like dreamed of as a kid. So yeah, definitely check it out. It is supposed to go out of early access sometime next year, I believe. So we'll have to see after that. They're going to start changing the monetization. Right now you buy a founder's pack to play, which I think they're too expensive. I was vocal about that. They are, I think, too expensive. I would have played it through Game Pass because it's on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you go and play it through there because then it basically feels free. With your subscription to Game Pass, you don't pay anything extra and you get the basic Founders Edition. If you pay for it, I think the biggest Founders Edition is like $80. I think it's like $80. Like, it's basically a full price game. That's all I remember is the biggest one's full price. The mid-level is like a mid-level, and the lowest one, I think it's like $20 to $30, something like that. But I still thought for this being early access and you're paying to play Bugs, that was kind of high. So to each their own, right? Like, however you can find a way to play, whether it's through Game Pass, if you have the access to that, or if you have to buy it right out. Maybe watch some content about it to make sure it's something you want now, but you can always wait till it's fully released. Then it's supposed to become free, and then there will be basically, they said it's cosmetics, but we'll see how that works, because I remember reading somewhere, I don't remember where, that they would be charging per new like place, something like that, like new content, which isn't unheard of for free games, but it's just going to be interesting to see how that monetization is handled, because I think how that is handled depends on if this game stays popular. The next game on this list is Ooblets, and I love this game. I made a video on this channel talking about how it was helping me out while I was feeling super anxious and depressed. It just made me feel so much better. It's a game that made me feel as good as when I was playing Stardew Valley. Just that very calm, like focused on the game, and my problems kind of melted away for a little bit when I did play, and it's a ton of fun. It's a life simulation video game developed and published by Glumberland. It was released via early access in 2015-2020, and it has released exclusively to the Epic Games Store and launched on September 1st of 2022. I keep wanting to say this year, but it should be 2023 by the time you see this. So yeah, it was super fun. I loved it. I've played it once. I'm actually technically playing it twice because I'm currently finishing up a playthrough on my second channel. You can go ahead and check that out if you want. A lot of these games I've played on my second channel if you didn't see me play them here, but it's so much fun. I love it, and I'm finishing up the second playthrough on that channel, and it's just as great as the first time I played it on my Switch. It is on Switch, Xbox, and Microsoft Windows. I don't think it's on PlayStation, so it is on Steam, it is on Xbox and Switch, and I know a lot of you guys have a Switch, so you're probably covered. But yeah, super cool, and it's a ton of fun to just curl up in a ball, play, super cozy. You kind of have these dance battles with these little ooblets that look like little vegetables that have come alive. Sometimes they look like vegetables, sometimes they look like a little animal, but they love dancing. And then there's kind of a conspiracy to shut down the town you live in, so you're trying to figure that mystery out while also becoming friends with people in town, collecting resources, traveling to new areas, dance battling people to get things. It's a ton of fun, and it's also kind of like a creature collector, which you gotta catch them all. You gotta plant them all and then catch them, because you gotta plant them. You dance battle, you get a seed, you plant it, and then you get an ooblet. It's very interesting, but really fun and super just happy and exciting, and it makes my day playing that game. Next up is Tinykin. Now, Tinykin is a ton of fun, and actually a game that I wasn't too sure about, but a lot of people on Twitter at the time when it came out were talking about it and saying it was actually like a hidden gem and more people needed to be talking about it. It's on Game Pass, so I decided to check it out, and I was not disappointed. This game was one of my favorites this year. It's so much fun. It is a 3D puzzle platformer where you play as an intergalactic astronaut named, I think it's Milo. Milo arrives on Earth only to find out that he's become a tiny figure in a huge house where not a day has passed since 1991. So, bit of a mystery, trying to figure out what's going on. Super, super cool though. And it was a ton of fun. It's a great platformer. It is just so nice to play. Currently, my sister's actually playing through it. And she said she's enjoying it so far. It's just, I don't know, it just makes you feel good playing it. It's very, like, the music is very well done. It's very peppy and exciting. You're helping all these little, like, bugs do all these different things inside of this kind of like world that these bugs have built using things in this house, and it's really cool. It's not too difficult. The puzzles are really fun and sometimes challenging, looking for certain things or certain collectibles I couldn't find by myself, but ton of fun regardless, and very colorful and exciting. And actually, I don't know if all the animations were done with Blender, but you'll know I've been learning Blender, and there's a tool called Grease Pencil, and they actually use that for their animations, and I thought that was pretty sick. I don't know if the assets in the game are used that way, but I did hear that it was done for their animations, so that's pretty cool. So it is published by TinyBuild and developed by Splash Team and Splash Team SAS. I don't know why it says both here. Maybe it's a division of the same thing, I'm not sure. but it was really great and I'd love to see more from this team. This game was cute and the story was definitely interesting, learning about why things got this way and what's going on. Next up is Grounded. It finally came out of early access and was fully released this year in in 2022 in September. Grounded is a survival video game developed by Obsidian Entertainment and published by Xbox Game Studios. It was released for Microsoft and Xbox in early access July 2020 and was fully released on the 27th of September in 2022. In this game, you wake up being shrunk down in this little box. If you play with your friends will also be there. There are 4 children you can choose from to play, and they all kind of have their own personalities, and basically you have to try and survive in this place called the backyard. It seems like maybe a scientist stole you. Maybe he shrunk you down. Who knows? There's a whole story that you can experience now and find out why y'all are shrunk. Why is there science stuff in this backyard? Where are you? And why are there other people's bones in here? Who else been down here? Suspicious. You also fight a ton of big bugs because you are shrunk down inside of this backyard. There's bugs you can befriend, bugs that you fight, you can craft, you can build. It is a sandbox survival game and it is a ton of fun. But also, if you're like, bugs, ew, I'm afraid of bugs. Me too, don't worry. They have modes if you have arachnophobia. So don't worry if you got that. I do too. And it is super nice that they were considerate to put that in the game so more people can enjoy the game. They basically have a slider. So whatever you're afraid of, it'll kind of just take it back. Mine goes all the way to 5. We got to take that all the way back and they become little balls. And I'm not going to lie, they still freak me out because they jump out sometimes and like, even though it's a floating ball, the danger is real. You know you can't fight that guy and you gotta run, but it's got a lot of different options. And if you like bugs, then there's tons of bugs in there. My brother kind of likes bugs. He's kind of afraid and kind of likes them. Definitely check it out if you're interested. It is a ton of fun and definitely one of my favorite games ever, just because I love it so much, and playing it with friends or siblings is definitely the way to go. It will be way more fun with more people exploring. So yeah, definitely check that out. Up next is Beacon Pines. Beacon Pines was a fantastic game that I played this year. It came out in September. A lot of games actually came out in September that I played this year, but it came out in September and it was a ton of fun. I made a review for it on this channel, so if you want to check that out, it can be spoilery after a certain point, but I do leave timestamps and warn you before I start talking about or showing really big spoilers for the game. Beacon Pines is a 2022 narrative adventure indie video game developed by Hiding Spot Games and published by Fellow Traveler. The game was released on September 22nd, 2022 for Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox. It is also on Mac, in case you want to see that as well. But it is, or play it on there as well. But it is super fun. Really great. It's like an open storybook. I go through it more in the review, but basically you get different words to affect the story, and you're basically playing the story in real time. And whenever there's something that can branch off, you pick a word that you have to find in the world by investigating, and you're basically trying to figure out what's going on. Your dad has gone missing, your mom has gone missing, your dad died maybe a little mysteriously as you play as our young little character, and he's basically just having a hard summer, and something really weird starts happening in the town, and there's a bit of a conspiracy, and you gotta figure it out. What happened to your parents? What happened in town? What's going to happen? Because something big is gonna happen. You can feel it boiling over. It was really cool being able to play different branches and branch off into different areas to finally find the true one right ending for the storybook, which is kind of the whole thing of the game. The narrator played kind of its own character, talking to you while you're experiencing this, showing their alarm when certain things happening or their confusion, trying to figure this mystery out with you, and it was quite fun. Definitely a gem for 2022. This next game, actually, I didn't even know was coming out this year. I watched an indie direct and it was just there, like released for same day. So I went and downloaded it. So much fun. If you're a drama kid like me, if you're in that drama club gang, okay, you're probably gonna like this a lot. You may not, but you probably will. It's definitely got drama kid energy. A lot of the dialogue in this game is improvised. They don't even cut out the parts where they made jokes and started laughing. It just cuts off mid-laugh and you can hear they recorded it. Some people might think that's kind of janky, but I think it kind of adds to the charm of the game and that improv spirit, especially because this game is all about stage acting and improvising. It is called Once Upon a Jester. It is so funny and so just unexpected. I wasn't expecting to play a game like this, maybe ever, but it was so much fun. I thought it was hilarious. My siblings hearing me play this game because of the different voices and voice talent that they had. Some were even streamers that you may know just by listening to their voice, was pretty cool. And they were like, what are you doing in there? And I was just laughing because it was so much fun. The quick synopsis of the game is you embark on an adventure as Jester, and you and your best friend Salk travel the kingdom to improvise shows and perform on stage far and wide. Sing your hearts out, crack jokes, and impress audiences to bond with your companions and become the star of the famous royal theatrical spectacle. But there's always, as always, some secrets about this theatrical spectacle. So it was pretty cool, lots of twists and turns. I forgot to say that it was developed, I think it's okay, I don't know if it's Bontavond or Bontavond. I'm not sure. Probably said it wrong both times, but it is developed by them and published by Crunching Koalas. I forgot to say that, and it came out November of 2022. And it was made with Game Maker, which I actually made a mini game in Game Maker. No, you'll never see it. It was horrible. Next up, and I am so unbelievably excited to dive into this game even more, is Kynseed. I've started playing this game on this channel. You guys seem to really enjoy it, so we'll see how long I can kind of play it for. I series just on YouTube in general do not do well at all anymore, which I don't really have time to do other content, but we'll see if we can figure it out. But Kynseed is incredible. It is an original life sim RPG inspired by the charm, eccentricity, and humor that permeated Lionhead Studios games. Pixel Count Studios was founded by Fable developers, which is, I didn't know before I played it, but that explains why it's so good. Charlie Edwards and Neil Whitehead, and is chaired by game industry legend Sir Ivan Livingstone. I read that verbatim, just so you know. I didn't write that. I read that. It's so much fun, and you can just see from the 2 videos I've made how much fun it is. The fact that when you pass away, like your character you can play as your children and move on into the next generation is so cool, and it kind of just feels like this game could go on forever and you could just keep having so much fun with it. So I definitely am excited to continue to play this game, and I'm just so excited about it. It was fully released out of early access this December 2022. It's no longer 2022, sorry. December 2022, and let me know if you're going to check it out. It seems like Stardew Valley, but on crack. You know, just see, I wasn't sure if I'd get demonetized if I said on crack. We'll see. Don't do crack. But yeah, it's just like Stardew Valley on this next level, and it's taking these genres and just like elevating it, in my opinion, and becoming so much more. And I'm really excited to continue to see everything I can do in that game and just keep playing it and enjoying it. But let me know if you're going to check it out, because some of you already said it looked pretty cool, and I'd love to play more of this game, especially for this channel, but also to see what you guys think about it. And if you want to check it out, it is released for Microsoft Windows currently. It's a ton of fun. Last but not least, I literally just finished this game the day that I'm recording this, is Somerville. Somerville is on this list because it was interesting and unique. Wasn't what I expected, but it wasn't like I didn't have fun. I was very invested and interested in the story of this game as you explore. If you like games like Inside, I'm pretty sure some of the same devs worked on this game as they did Inside. Very similar side-scrolling adventure where you're getting chased running around in this alien invasion and trying to figure out what happened to you, what's going on, and like where's your family at, you know. Very cool, very interesting. I really enjoyed this game. The ending, it's kind of interesting. The ending, I am gonna release, actually by the time this is out, the video should be done, but the full series of me playing this game should be on my second channel if you want to check it out. I'm in the middle of editing it. It's like 3.5 hours of footage. I'm trying to cut it down, but definitely check it out if you want to see gameplay. It is definitely not a fast-paced game. Some people criticized it for being so slow. It was boring. I don't mind. I think some things, like your character runs way too slow. Like he walks so slow. That bothered me. I mentioned it so many times in the playthrough, like why is he so slow? And then the second thing is that there is one part where you're in this mine area. It's way too long. Like it drags on forever. And that part is in between when something interesting happens. You get in this mine, you're in there way too long, and then you get out and then something interesting happens. But because of that huge middle mine part being so long, I feel like that's when people started just getting really bored. I don't mind a game that's a bit slower paced, so I was still very invested and interested in what was happening, but I definitely felt that longness on that part of the story. So, you know, if it's something that you think you might enjoy, you might be interested in, maybe watch a little bit of gameplay. It is very story driven though. There's also a huge epilepsy warning. I don't know how much footage I'll actually show because the epilepsy warning was on the game, and the whole game is flashing, like it's about lights and stuff flashing. So, you know, might be one you want to miss, but if it is something you're interested in, I did enjoy it. Not my favorite, but something that was unique and interesting enough I thought some of you might enjoy, and I'm going to put it on here. I'm not going to do a full review for the game. Not a lot of people wanted me to in a poll. This is kind of my review for the game, just a quick little, you know, something about it, just because I don't have much else to say about it than what I just said. But it is pretty cool, and I will read the synopsis because I totally forgot. Somerville is an adventure video game and the debut title for the independent studio Jump Ship. The studio's co-founder, Dino Patti, previously co-founded Playdead and worked on Limbo and Inside as executive producer on both games. So that's pretty sick. So actually it was the producer. Correct myself there. But yeah, pretty cool. That thing is still in my eye. Came out this year in November. It's on Game Pass, so that's how I played it. If you have Game Pass, I mean, Game Pass gives you the opportunity to try out so many games for such a low price that I personally love Game Pass because it gives me that opportunity to just, every weekend I usually finish a game. So yeah, definitely something maybe just to keep on the back burner if you have some time and you're interested, maybe check it out. But it was pretty good. So yeah, that is my list. It's not super long, and it may not look as balanced as it was last year with a lot of different genres, but it's the games that I really like this year. It's the games that I'm going to look back on and be like, I really enjoyed that game. Some of these games I'm currently playing and continuing to play into 2023, like Kynseed, for example, or Dreamlight Valley. You know, all these games on this list were important to me for different reasons, or I had genuine fun. They made me feel something emotional, and I think that's important. And that's what I value in video games, but some people value other things. You know, I also value if I can play them with my siblings and we have a good time and we make memories like that, right? And for you, that may not be what you like about video gaming. I think what I'd like from this video is you guys to tell me what you like about video games and what do you look for in video games. Like, I look for experiences that are really fun, and I leave being like, I had a good time. That was a good use of my time. I had a good time. Or the story stays with me and I'm thinking about it. What do you guys think is important for you in video gaming? For me, if it makes an impression, whether it's fun, the story's great, it's emotional, you know, it was valuable for my time, I guess is what I'm trying to say, then what do you think? It'd be cool to know what you guys look for in games, because everyone looks for something different. Do not fight down in the comments. We're not fighting. Like, we're being chill. It's just games. We're just having a good time and vibing and chilling and just sharing in the fact we all like video games. All different kinds for all different reasons. No matter what platform you're on, like, who cares what company you like to buy from? No one cares. We're all playing games. We're all having a good time. So yeah, anyway, that's my little rant. That was the games of the year for me. What were yours? What were your favorite ones? Even if it's God of War or Elden Ring, feel free to put that down below. No one's gonna shame you. Those games were good. Obviously, they won a ton of awards. Everyone enjoys them. But for me, I just wasn't interested. But I'd love to know what you guys thought of them. If that was one of those were your favorite games, or, you know, give me your top 5. What were your top 5 games where you're like, those had an impression, I enjoyed those? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to have sweet, sweet dreams of gaming.